on the anniversary of Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat on a Montgomery City bus, many are debating whether the Black Lives Matter movement of today resembles the civil rights movement of 50 years ago. BLM activists argue icons like Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, Jr. have had their legacies whitewashed, and they were treated like radicals in their time just like BLM. But others argue BLM is antithetical to the peaceful approach of King's movement. What do you think? Perspectives. Zeba Blay argues in Huffington Post that many people misremember the legacy of Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, Jr. While some view the civil rights movement as the perfect example of peaceful protest, the reality is it was disruptive and often violent. The civil rights leaders of the 1950s and 1960s were treated in the same way Black Lives Matter activists are treated today, and Parks would undoubtedly have supported the BLM movement were she still alive. Parks was a deemed radical in her day just like many deem BLM activists and kneeling NFL players as radical today. The Black Lives Matter is just an extension of what the civil rights movement started, and they share the same goal, racial justice for all. To change the status quo is to disrupt the current order. How Rosa Parks' legacy lives on in the Black Lives Matter movement. But others argue Black Lives Matter has no right to claim Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, Jr. as radicals when they had such different approaches to protest. Alveda King has argued that to downplay her uncle's commitment to peaceful, civil disobedience is wrong, and his legacy shouldn't be used to justify bad behavior today. Black Lives Matter activists aim to reclaim Martin Luther King as radical. Many still argue there is no way Rosa Parks would support the Black Lives Matter movement of today. Rosa Parks vs. Black Lives Matter. pic.twitter.com/jfhnsw43xg. 62 years ago today, Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus, and unofficially started the civil rights movement. She stood her ground without using violence, rioting, looting local businesses, or disrespecting her country. That's a true American. Take notes. Rosa Parks or Martin Luther King would never approve of Al Sharpton or the Black Lives Matter agenda. They were peaceful, not like you. But others argue the BLM activists of today are following in the footsteps of the civil rights leaders before them. 62 years ago, Rosa Parks stood up for civil rights by sitting down. Today, people of color are still fighting for their rights in the streets and on the playing field. Number takiani.twitter.com/tqdoflkvih. Rosa Parks would have been treated today the same way Black Lives Matter movement is now. Why? Because she was treated that way back then. No matter what people do for civil rights, it's always the wrong way to go about it. Always Rosa Parks, I mean gosh, she started something but she shouldn't have made a scene. Black Lives Matter? It raised awareness but gosh, wasn't that marching disorderly? https://tco/rc8jngv2do. The TYLT is focused on debates and conversations around news, current events, and pop culture. We provide our community with the opportunity to share their opinions and vote on topics that matter most to them.